So my story is actually a little different. I enlisted with the Navy when I was 17, and then I failed out of high school. The Marine Corps took me as far as MCRD, and then they found a heart murmur, and I got sent home. I pissed away a year of my life making awful choices, and one day woke up and walked downstairs where my father was waiting in the dining room, and I said, if I don't join the Army or the Air Force, I am going to end up face down in a ditch probably in a couple of weeks because I have nothing. And a couple of weeks later, I raised my right hand, and they gave me some waivers, and I joined. And I was 19 when I enlisted, and I turned 20 in basic training.
Wow.
Oh.
I think the beginning of my military was like yours. I had gotten kicked out of high school or dropped from the academic roles because of not.
Bro, there's a couple different types of people who join the military. Let me give you my completely non-personal take that is going to trigger a bunch of people, but most veterans and most active duty people will agree. Okay, you have the dudes that come from broken homes and like shit ass backgrounds who want to fucking run away from their families. A lot of times that's partnered up with predatory practices, predatory recruitment practices, and also a Camaro that you can potentially buy, okay, that you can purchase. And you have the military family guys who are also ironically oftentimes coming from shitty backgrounds as well, or they're doing it because like everyone in their fucking family is military. Okay, they're like, well, my dad was military, my grandfather was military, I'm gonna fucking be military. And then you have the real freaks, okay, the officer like ROTC program Andes that like literally fast track into becoming an officer. All the other kids who enlisted at 18 fucking hate them, and all those psychos then turn around and go and get a fucking MBA at Harvard, and then before you know it, they're Tom Cotton walking around talking about how we need to actually destroy everyone who says they are Democratic Party members. I don't even know if Tom Cotton was an officer, but yeah, and then they go and fucking work at McKinsey and then become a politician. Okay, that's the three broad like military American military backgrounds that you get. Active duty military, pretty accurate. You're missing that. I joined the serve my country types. Yeah, but that type is dying, and I don't mean literally. I mean like this type no longer exists as much, and the reason for that is because 9/11 is a distant memory, and 18-year-olds don't know 9/11, so they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I joined the serve my country types. There's a lot of you in here that literally did that. There's a lot of you who probably did that. There's like active. There's people who fucking toured shit like that. Post 9/11, enlistment went up. Like they fucking enlistment skyrocketed. Everybody was trying to join the military because they were whipped up in like this almost religious fervor to defend America from our enemies, both domestic and foreign. But that type doesn't exist anymore, which is why like the American military has like increased the predatory recruitment practices by trying to fucking lock you in at the age of 14 with like sweepstakes and shit like that. Like no one gives a shit anymore about the American military. It's a job. It's a shitty job. You act like you give a fuck. You do this, okay? You go, oh my God, I love our vets. But in real life, it's just like no one cares. Like absolutely zero people care. It's these are wars that are young, are fighting, that are slated to never end. The whole purpose is that the war has to go on forever so that the American military industrial complex can continue making money. You're a piece of shit. People are literally willing to die for you to say shit takes like that. What the fuck is wrong with you? Says _Austin. Yeah, dude, you're totally right. It's so funny though that like the vets in here agree with me, but you random chatter JROTC Andy over here are like, people are willing to die for you. Hey man, can you explain to me as easily as you can, as quickly as you can, how killing a pedophile goat herder in Afghanistan is going to defend my liberties? Or how that same pedophile goat herder was ever going to impact my free speech in any meaningful capacity? Please explain that. Giving like bags and bags of cash to random pedophile warlords in Afghanistan is not defending my free speech. Okay? These people are willing to die for you doesn't mean anything. Just because someone says they're willing to die for you doesn't mean that like what they're ultimately doing, legitimately defending like my rights or my liberties. Okay? Do you have any idea what the special forces do, like SEAL teams, MARSOC, Rangers, and Airborne Division do? Sorry. Yes, you're right. Murdering an American asset and then blowing up $1 million fucking helicopter in the process is what one of the wonderful things that the SEAL teams does. Murdering an American CIA asset that is literally one block down from the Pakistani fucking military complex, jerking off to hentai, playing Nintendo 64, murdering that guy and blowing up a helicopter in the process is what the SEAL teams do. Or massacres in general. Some of you should probably talk to veterans who have a better understanding of the things that they did. Maybe it will open your perspective. Actually, you know what? I'll play one of my favorite videos of all time. Okay, friend of the show, Abby Martin's boyfriend slash husband, I guess. I don't know if they're married or not. Mike Prisner. Don't listen to me. Hear a veteran's take on it. Okay, how about that? He was arrested outside the White House with 130 other veterans from the Iraq War.
Susan Brothers, thanks everyone for being here. We're from the organization March Forward. We are here to say to all those serving in the Army and the Marines and the Air Force and the Navy that you have the absolute right to refuse to take part in these criminal wars, and that's a right that all of you should exercise. You have no reason to go put your life on the line and kill and die for profit. We've been to Iraq, we've been to Afghanistan, and we know what these wars are really about. And we joined the military for many reasons. Because we need a college education, because we need a job, because we need health care. And then we joined the military, and they tell us that our enemies are poor people in caves in Afghanistan, or poor people in the deserts of Iraq. But we've been to those countries, and we know that our enemies are not other poor people abroad. Our enemies are the people that laid us off from our jobs, that denied us health care, that make it impossible to get an education. Our enemies are not in the poorest countries on the planet, but right here in the richest one. The occupations of Iraq and Afghanistan alone are costing over $700 million every single day. This is a crime.
You know what's funny? So they arrested him after this. So this dude, put his life on the line to defend our free speech, brother, and then got arrested for exercising it. Oh, Jesus Christ. The DOD is the world's largest hiring body, followed by sometimes the Chinese military and followed by Walmart. They switch off, but the Department of Defense is like the Pentagon is the largest single organization that hires the most people.
We try to train each and every soldier, Marine, Airman, and Sailor that a target is only a silhouette, to take away that shock value, to take away that burden of responsibility of what you're about to do. But the inability to sympathize with another human being would make our job impossible. If someone is hurt, if someone is wounded, if someone is injured, if someone is sick, if someone needs to give birth, and they are not wearing an American flag, we will still render that because we have to have that sympathy. We have to have that empathy.
Bro, but also at the same time, why are they hurt? Why are they in need of medical attention? Just think. It's not like they randomly fell down the stairs and you happen to be there and now you're there to help. They're in need of medical attention because, they either got shot by other homies in your battalion or a bomb fucking exploded over their house.
You can at least sympathize with the lives that are upended. Yes. Because of this conflict.
Of course.
When we talk about the civilians that have to deal with this, especially in the situation that you talked about where they, don't have what we have. I immigrated from a country where refrigeration was a luxury.
Right.
Yeah.
So, there's more involved than just, the A side and B side.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
Drone warfare scares me.
They made the controllers for some of our automated weapons. They turned them into Xbox-style controllers because the argument is, because we understand Xbox controllers. This generation understands this style of controllers, and it becomes easier and easier and easier and easier and easier to pull the trigger and think that there's no consequence.
Look, I'm sorry, I can't even wait till I sit down. I understand everything you're both saying about how technology can affect what can happen in the world, precision strikes all over, but to sit there and take, in my opinion, a naive perspective in saying that drone technology is going to have such a profound effect when it comes to the impact of how we conduct the business of war, because it is a business at the end of the day. If it can prevent the loss of life, precise strikes to limit the loss of our brothers and sisters' lives, I am 100% for it. The humanity of war, of you taking a life and me seeing that, and the emotional impact of the rest of the people in that room, versus one person sitting on a computer who we can keep in a safe environment and provide mental health and care for, where's the real downside? We are still taking life, regardless. But it's being done in a precise manner that is actually preventing the loss of our soldiers' lives.
Dude, that's so scary, dude. That's such a fucking terrible take. It just kind of goes to show you the lack of consideration to the lives that these people have taken, if they have actually taken lives. They just don't give a fuck. Like, they don't care that we're just blowing people up regularly, dude. That's fucking wild to me. It is wild to me that, like, we can have a conversation about this. Like, we can have a debate about this. Like, you know, which way should we murder people? Well, you know, if we do drones, like, you know, our KD will look better.
Only disagreed because I'm more in the middle, honestly. I've seen the positive and the negative that can come out of drones. Like you said, you can minimize the loss of life by not having a pilot up there. But I completely agree with what you were saying, where it's becoming like almost like a video game. So I'm kind of in the middle, honestly.
But what's the difference from you pushing that button or sitting up there with a Mark 19 raining down on a village 40mm grenades, raining down hellfire?
There's a psychological difference between you doing it and seeing it in person on the ground versus doing it from behind or in like a room from a drone. You know, I think like I said, I'd have to do a lot more research and figure out the specifics, but I think there's a psychological difference between those two types of kills.
Okay, but what you're saying there is you would rather inflict more harm and mental
Oh, this is psychotic. Like, normal humans should look at this conversation between two people and recognize how psychotic this convo is. This is like, this is insane, dude.
Anguish on the soldier by physically being there, by pulling that trigger, by letting that Mark 19 40mm grenade go,
right,
and rip and watch the destruction they're doing and put them
right
into anxiety and depression and PTSD versus it being a video game that they can turn off and begin to function as a normal human being and not have that long-term damage.
But the thing you're forgetting is it's not a video game. Those are real people that they just killed with that drone. So the psychological effects might be the exact same.
They could be. And no, I'm very well aware that those are real people. I've walked in those deserts. I've walked down those streets. I know exactly what you're talking about. If you're telling me that with your experience and your PTSD, if you couldn't take that away and put yourself in a
Are they gonna talk about like who's dying in the process at any point? Like, what the fuck's going on, dude? He's just like, dude, my PTSD is so bad from doing the murders. Like, we should eliminate that PTSD by doing the murders from really far away. Like, how about not doing the murders? I don't know. Like, am I crazy? Just don't do the fucking murders. I feel like
in a space to be able to have gone through that experience and not dealt with the fallout and the repercussion, the fear. You wouldn't want that?
If I am fighting an enemy that I have no connection to, and they are fighting an enemy that they have no connection to, what is the incentive to stop?
The answer is very clear: mutual self-destruction. Nuclear technology has been around for years.
Wait, shut the fuck up. Like, okay, are we giving Afghanistan a nuke? Is that the advocacy that we're engaging in? Like, we should give Iran, fuck stopping their nuclear program. We should give them the nukes. My man said mutual self-destruction. Yeah, dude, the mutual self-destruction of like Yemen being under a forced famine as a consequence of like the Saudi regime blockades and active warfare and bombs being dropped upon Yemen every day, American bombs like that. Where's the mutual self-destruction there? What are they gonna do, bro? Are they gonna fight back? Like, how are they gonna fight back? With slingshots, dude?
The military receives too much funding.
Bro, they should have had like some anti-war vets, dude. Like, they should have had some fucking anti-imperialist veterans. Like, what the fuck is this? This conversation is like almost like a circle jerk from the point of view of imperialism. It's just, it is turned into propaganda.
I can already sense the answers with the people that don't agree with me. We spend a drastic amount of money on our department.
Anti-war vets don't exist. You're literally wrong. You are wrong. You're surrounded by them in here in this chat.
Of Defense. A lot of that money just doesn't even go to the troops themselves. It goes to defense contractors and research and development. And our military is so large and so spread out that when you get to the level of the individual soldier, sailor, service member, there's not a lot of money to invest in them personally, especially when you're looking at equipment or, healthcare, things like that, So we've gotten used to this conversation where, if we don't spend all this money on the military, we're not supporting our troops. And truthfully, I just think that money could be used more wisely to invest in our troops, especially when they get out, so that they don't have to face these battles alone.
You know what? You said something there that made me waver.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know you know the pushback that you were expecting. And
Absolutely.
You're right. You're 100% right. Esprit de corps, how could you say we need to cut back on defense spending?
Right.
There's a lack of accountability and transparency that's happening.
Absolutely.
It's being hidden under documents of paperwork that are being submitted to Congress and the Senate for approval. And defense spending, realistically, we're how many times over the next country?
The next 13 countries combined?
Yeah.
We spend more than them?
Yeah, it was the next
It's a lot.
13 combined, exactly.
Especially because departments within the military, right? How many times have you heard use or lose, right?
Oh
the
my
end
God.
of the end of the fiscal year is
my
coming.
God.
If you don't use the rest of your budget, you risk budget cuts, and now your unit's buying a whole bunch of BS that they didn't have before or needed.
Well, and the worst part about it is we're spending this money, and the common phrase in the military, made by the lowest bidder.
Right.
You're not getting quality equipment. You're getting, it's tested, but it's not the best piece of equipment you can have based upon the amount of money that's spent.
Trans people should be allowed in the military.
I'll be honest, I didn't expect this.
Really?
Yeah, me either.
Okay,
Honestly,
why?
why didn't
Why?
you expect it?
Bro, they are such libs. They didn't even get like a hardcore hoorah dipshit chud vet either. Like, they didn't get the classic military veteran that is a meme at this point. They didn't get a single one of those guys. Okay, they're all libs, and they don't even have a fucking like leftist, like anti-imperialist veteran either.
Especially when I was in, there's a lot of concern with the readiness aspect of it. Being able to support soldiers that are transitioning, things like that.
Right.
The reason why I came to the middle is because as long as they meet the standard and that it doesn't affect readiness, I see absolutely no problem with it, because the Department of Defense has done this before, where they've barred gay people, women from certain things, and those same questions were brought up, and now they're integrated into the force.
The unfortunate reality is that because America's main economy revolves around murder, the Pentagon is also the largest hiring organization for trans people on the planet. That is a reality, unfortunately.
I would encourage my children to enlist.
Why?
Honestly, free education, truth. I am forever grateful for the post 9/11 GI Bill.
Bro, we will never get free college in this country. Do you understand? We will never get free college in this country. And this is one of the most important reasons as to why, okay? We just will not. Like, how sad is it that in European countries, okay, these socialist European countries where they're teaching homosexuality and transgender rights in colleges, you can just get this shit for nearly free or free, and you can improve the American labor force, make it more competitive internationally, and the government provides that for you without you having to blow your fucking body up. That's crazy, dude. It's not even just OECD nations, though. I mean, Turkey has free college. But here in America, you got to sell your body to the American military, baby. And only then can you get a fucking communications degree and also sell life insurance to all your fucking friends. With, of course, nice little PTSD on the side, though, as seasoning to fuck your day up.
I became a very different person because of education. And I can't imagine being thousands and thousands of dollars in debt right now, having to pay that back.
Adding to what you're saying, I would qualify the statement of I would encourage my children by saying the encouragement is there. It's not a forced, hey, you better join. Like, it's not that. It's if you don't know what the next steps are, if you don't have a plan, and most people don't, they don't know what comes after high school. Why don't you go someplace where they already have a plan and you can just fit into the plan for a little bit?
I want to ask.
Dude, that's so terrible, dude. Yeah, that's called fucking college, dog. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, you were back there. Look at this little guy.
Holy Christ!
still here.
I heard him laugh.
I heard the chuckle.
Jesus Christ!
First of all, I'd like to say that I mostly agree with everything that you guys said, but, for example, like when we talk about college, right? College being outrageously expensive in this country. I think a more productive way to address that is why is college in our country so expensive? I'm not sure if, as a parent, I would be comfortable with rolling the dice with my children. When it comes to mental health, physical health, injuries, things like that. I can provide my knowledge, my experience, those that I've met, veterans that I've met, but because you want what's best for your child, right? And so, yeah, I'm not entirely opposed to it, I guess is the answer you're looking
you talk
for.
about wanting the best for them, but what's the actual feeling you have on it? How do you genuinely feel about it as an individual, not the parent wanting the best for their child? Is this something that you'd sit there and say, look, I get it, I support you, because I actually believe in it, or I'm going to support you because I'm your parent and I see the other side of it, and that kind of gives me that drawback of saying,
because look, I benefited from the military greatly. Like I would not be sitting here the way I am today if it was not for the military, so I totally understand that aspect, but like I said, I just seen it go wrong too many times, like young people coming back with shrapnel across their face, and their life is, in the hands of the U.S. government, and I'm not entirely comfortable with just that aspect of it.
Hey man, that's good. Good. Yeah, I like your idea.
Of course.
Yeah, the black shirt goatee dude was in the stock market video defending hedge funds, like straight up, unconditionally offering full-blown support to the hedge funds. So, kind of racist, dude. What is kind of racist? Your mom? I know. I'm trying to fuck the hate out of her, though. Got him. That's all I'm going to say. Going forward, I'm never going to take these idiotic takes seriously. I'm just going to say I had sexual intercourse with your mother and she enjoyed it and move on.